Okay, I am not Spanish. However, I mean, and there's going to be a lot of people out there that know Spanish food very well that's just going to tell me off massively for this. But I'm just going to do a blagged, put together kind of paella, right? Or paella, right? Some chorizo, some garlic, jar of peppers, some preserved lemons. I have a little bit of oil here left over from some sun-dried tomatoes. Some chilies, quite hot and spicy. I've got some reduced sweet chili nuggets of chicken, okay? Kind of like a packet stuff. I have got a little bit of saffron. Now it's going to sound like it's really posh. However, this is a bit of saffron that's been in the back of my cupboard that is so old, it's like sand. So we'll see what happens with that. I've got a bay leaf from the garden. I've got a bit of butter. I've got some anchovies. I've got all sorts of bits and bobs. And I haven't even got paella rice. I've got a packet of cooked basmati rice. So the first thing you want is the chorizo. Now this is quite important, alright? What I want to do is keep it quite chunky, and I'm going to fry it off. And where I fry it, I want the oils to come out. Little lots of cooking oil in the pan, and the chorizo, big chunks of it, go in, okay? And they're going to start frying. And what will happen is they will start to leach out all of their natural oils that are in it, okay? And that's quite important because you want that oil in the pan because that's where a load of flavour is going to come. Give it a stir around, just keep them moving. Garlic and an onion, all right? Probably I'm going to need half an onion, I reckon. And a knife through the garlic as well. Everything's still quite chunky. That chorizo, I can smell, it smells delicious. And then into that, I'm going to put garlic and half an onion. And stir that around and let that sweat down just a little bit. Let those onions begin to soften. To help do those onions, you know by now, a good pinch of salt. Next to go in, I've got a bit of a leftover pepper. I'm going to put it in strips, just so that it's got a little bit of extra texture to it. Strips of pepper go in. They'll begin to soften as well. I'm going to put in a couple of these bay leaves. These are from the garden. Don't worry, I did give them a little rinse under water first. And everything will just cook down and stew just a little bit. And you want it all to soften and all those flavours to kind of grow together. Whilst they're doing that, I'm going to drain, take out some of these chilies. Okay, they're quite hot. I was going to add more of them, but no, they're fine. So the chilies, some of these sun-dried tomatoes, and then at this point, just as everything is softening, I'm going to put this little pinch of saffron, crumbly chicken stock cube. Use a veg one if you like. That goes in. That works really well. It's just a good flavour enhancer. It's not as a replacement for stock, because like real stock, it's got so much more to it. It's got body, it's got gelatin content in it. This is just about flavour. Good splash of water, and I'm just going to let everything kind of bubble together and stew just a little bit. And let all those flavours become one. And in here, I've got some anchovies. Use a little bit of that anchovy oil. Just going to take 2 or 3 of them out. Just going to take one of them out. I don't want anchovies, I changed my mind. Come back to me. With a fork, just going to try and get, that's it, just a couple of these anchovy fillets out, because a little bit of these go a long way. The flavour in them is massive, alright? And in this bowl here, of the sun-dried tomatoes, the hot chilies and the anchovies, just going to get a fork and just kind of mash it together, alright? And here I've got preserved lemon. These are amazing, okay? They taste fantastic. They've got a real big kick to them. And a little bit, again, goes a long way. Chop them up. Pips and all, everything. Okay, so now the lemon, the chili, the tomato, the anchovies, all mixed together, look. And into that, I'm going to add the rice and then mix all of that flavour together, look. And you can see that stock beginning to cook down. And at this point, put the rice, the preserved lemon, the chili and the tomato, those anchovies into the stock. And then give it a good coating, mix it all together. So all of that flavour that comes from that chorizo right at the beginning, that cooking point at the beginning, is now going to start mixing through everything else here. And you can do 2 things. We can either leave it on the stove here and let the rice heat up that way, or we can bake it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Those chicken fillets now just kind of push into the rice. And this, by no means, is any way an authentic paella, right? But what it is using up ingredients and bits and bobs that we have that tastes a little bit like it. Maybe just a splash more water. And then that's going to go in the oven, preset, 185, for about 10 minutes. So my blagged paella has been in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes and it's kind of baked and that stock has all been absorbed. I'm just going to put it into the bowl. Look at that, standing in it when you go for it. There's only 2 bay leaves in it and the 1 spoonful I've had has had both of them. And that is a super delicious paella-ish. I mean, the only real relevance it has to Spain is the colour, but it tastes delicious.